Hello, everyone. Welcome to Green on the Greens. It is the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, which is the combination of, I think, two events. Weren't they two separate events before now?
Yeah.
But this year, it is the CJ Cup Byron Nelson alongside Cody Williams, as always. I'm going to be honest, Cody. I think we are in the lull of the PGA Tour season between the Zurich Classic last week and this event this week. Because I don't know if you've looked at the field. Obviously you have, Cody. I don't know about the people watching, but it's a rough one this week, and so was last week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's what happens when you honor one of golf's greats, Byron Nelson, and just, shoehorn in a South Korean conglomerate just because why not? Yeah, it makes total sense. But yeah, this is definitely the doldrums. Not quite like that Rocket Mortgage 3M Open stretch of the season that we get, but it's definitely like a close second there.
Yeah, but then after this week, to be fair, we do have a great stretch of golf after this week. We got the Wells Fargo signature event next week, and then the PGA Championship the week after, and then the Charles Schwab Challenge, which is whatever. But then the Canadian Open, which is obviously big for me, Memorial, U.S. Open, Travelers. So we do have a nice stretch of tournaments after this week. We just got to get through this week and see if we can somehow pick a winner, because last week we both sucked, Cody. You once again, if you could win like half profit for having golfers that finish one stroke off the money, you'd be up $1 million right now, because it seems like every single week you have at least one golfer who's one stroke out of what you picked them at. And last week, I believe it was the Fitzpatrick brothers, right? You took them top 10 and they finished T11.
Yeah, and it happened with Lauer and Wu as well. They were one stroke out. I think they finished T23 and I had them for a top 20. So yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. I'd be up forever just on half profit. Like, it'd be great.
Yeah. I did the rare golf reverse sweep on the show, which I don't know has ever happened, and it's that all four of my picks missed the cut completely. I hate that. I hate the Zurich Classic. I hate partner golf outside of the Ryder Cup and President's Cup, and it really showed up. I mean, I didn't even take complete long shots. I mean, my top 20 was a bit of a long shot, but Højgaard twins miscut, Thigala Zalatoris miscut. The only pick I had that didn't miss the cut, of course, was closest to the win. Callum Tarrant and David Skins finished T11, so that's another win for me. I'm up 7-3 now, close to the win. I think I might just need to completely change my strategy picking golfers and just go with my strategy I use for close to the win, which is like a couple of like kind of small points to back them, and then mostly just gut feeling, because my close to the win picks are by far the best picks I've had on this show.
I mean, it was a battle between us and closest to the win too. Mac Meisner and Austin Sutherland were one stroke off of your team going into the final round. Your team shot one under. They shot even par for the final round, all shot. But yeah, our closest to the win picks remain our money somehow, weirdly.
Yes. So I've taken a 7-3 lead. Obviously, if people are watching and don't know, we pick golfer that's 100-1 odds or longer and see which one finishes better on the leaderboard. So I'm up 7-3. I'm red hot with those picks this season. So yeah, CJ Cup Byron Nelson. It is one of the worst fields I've ever seen in a non-alternate field event. Jordan Spieth is just kind of the betting favorite by default, kind of. And you have a couple of names: Siwoo Kim, Jason Day, Adam Scott, Sung Jae Im, Min Woo Lee. But it's pretty tough out there. So my list of picks is a bunch of nobodies. So I'm curious to see how this week is going to go. Talk to me about TPC Craig Ranch, because from my research, it is just the most average course of average courses of all time. I don't think there's anything that makes it unique. There's no real one set of skill that is important this week. It's just play good golf, and I guess whoever hits the most putts ends up winning. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely not. I was going to say the defining characteristic is you better make a lot of birdies. Otherwise, you're not going to contend in this event. Like, it is a birdie fest. I think the scores past couple of years have been like in like the 25 or under range. So like, you've got to score a ton of birdies, and there's no pretty much it's carte blanche of how you want to handicap and who you're going to pick for this field, because like you said, there's not one defining characteristic. Like, driving accuracy does not matter, but you also don't have to be a bomber to succeed here. You don't have to be a great approach player, because if you get a hot putter, you can still convert on greens that are relatively easy. The par five, there's 3 par fives, all of them average, like, I think under 4.5 strokes. Like, it is a very scoreable golf course. So you just want guys who know how to make birdies, which frankly can be hard to handicap sometimes.
Yeah, it can be because it will be a birdie fest. But other than that, I mean, good luck trying to pick someone who's going to succeed at this course. The top names are all guys for the most part who haven't really played well this season, and then you have a bunch of nobodies after them. So good luck to the viewers. Good luck to us. Let's just see if we can get through this week without losing our entire bankroll. So let's jump right into it then. Top 20, top 10, top 5, and then our pick to win. Obviously, as always, we'll start with top 20. No overlap in our picks this week. You always send me the picks kind of before the show this morning. Usually, a lot of times this year, we have at least one pick that's the same that one of us needs to change. Not this time, my friend. Completely different picks. So start us off top 20.
Let me say first, I think that's indicative of what I was just saying. Like, it's so, like,
Yeah.
it feels like very much a dart throw, a crapshoot, whatever term you want to go for. But I got Peter Quest for a top 20 at plus 320. I think that's great value. You look at what Peter Quest has been doing. He was a name who kind of popped up a lot last year, and he's starting to play a little bit better right now so far after a slow start to 2024. Top 10s in his 2 last starts, Valero and Corrales Putacana, and he was T14 at this event last year. He's a bomber. He hits it far off the tee. Like I said, you're not going to be penalized for wayward drives, which is sometimes what can happen to Peter Quest, which I think success at the Valero and Corrales Putacana kind of indicate where he succeeds those type of courses. But what I like is the rest of his game is coming into nice form. Over the last 20 rounds in this field, he's 16th in strokes gained total, 7th in par 5 scoring, 11th in bent grass putting, and 20th in proximity from 220 or from 200 to 225 yards. And he's also 40th in birdie or better gained percentage, which is a stat I tried to target this week. I think he just really fits it. He's a little bit volatile, but I think this is a great course fit, coming in good form. And I think plus 320 is a nice number in this field.
All right, I have no take. I like to either agree or argue against all your picks. I don't know. I can't argue against any of them this week because who knows? It's TPC Craig Ranch. It's the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. I got no take. So sure, Peter K. Let's go. I want to shout out Mondo Angelucci in the chat. I enjoy your program. Hello from Kentucky. Seems a good chance for some price this week. Yeah, if you want to take some complete long shots, I guess now is the week to do it, and that's exactly what I'm doing with a couple of my picks because literally anybody could win this event, and I would not be surprised whatsoever, which leads me to my top 20 pick, which I think might be a guy who at least one of us might have taken in close to the win at some point this year, but I'm going to take Alexander Bjork. Plus 500 to finish in the top 20. I also sprinkled on him to win at 175 to 1. I'm just going to basically my strategy this week for the most part outside of my pick to win and I guess really just my top 10 and top 20 pick. Just bet on good putters. It's not something I usually like doing. You know, I follow the old adage of it's better to bet on good ball strikers and hope they putt well than good putters and hope they strike well. But at an event where it's just the most average course of all time, and it's a birdie fest, so it's going to come down to just whoever does sink as many putts as possible. I'm just going to bet on, I guess, the best putter. So Alexander Bjork is one of the better putters, third on tour in strokes gained putting. I don't really have too much else to say about him. He finished T33 at the Valero Texas Open, T11 at the American Express, so he has at least a couple of solid starts this year. But once again, I'm just going to bet on good putters and hope they can hit greens and sink putts. So top 25 to 1. I sprinkled on them at 175 to 1 as well.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's an average golf course, and like you can throw a lot of the tee to green metrics out because they really don't matter. Like if you're inaccurate driving the ball, which Alexander Bjork isn't, but I mean, like if you're short and inaccurate, it really doesn't matter. Like it's not going to kill you. You're still going to have opportunities to score. So if he's putting well, I think that strategy makes complete sense. I employ a little bit of that strategy later in my picks, so we'll get there.
All right, going back to Mondo Angelucci in chat, he says, I do like Baddeley this week. A good price, certainly veteran and always good putting in around the green. Played good here last time. Why not? He has been lurking in several events past 2 years. Mondo, are you the guy who gave a shout to Baddeley a couple weeks ago or last week? Because I guess that'd be a coincidence if we had several people who were big Aaron Baddeley fans in the chat. So actually stay tuned, my friend. You're going to like one of my later picks. And Paul Camarda says, give me Adam Scott plus 250 for a top 10. 2 top 10s in the past 3 years here. Has gained strokes in every major category, but hasn't put a full good tournament together. I agree. Think he goes low versus watered down field. Chips. So there you go. Chips is giving out Adam Scott. Not a golfer either of us are on, but I'm not going to argue against Adam Scott. I mean, Yeah,
He's
sure.
one of the better players in this field, like just
Right.
point blank. And so getting over plus 200 for a top 10, yeah, that's value there for someone of Adam Scott's talent level.
Absolutely. Let's move on to top 10. Give me your top 10 pick.
Top 10 going Mark Hubbard, Homeless Hubs. Picked him
Homeless
a couple.
Hubs. Is that his nickname, or did you just call him that right now?
I've heard him called that on multiple separate podcasts, so
Okay.
I don't feel bad saying it. He grows out that beard, and I guess he's got the homeless look to him. I don't know, but
All right.
hopefully he
it.
doesn't leave me homeless with this pick. Plus 450 for a top 10. I picked him a couple weeks ago, and I still just like the way he's playing. Him and Ryan Brim competed at the Zurich. I'm not putting a ton of stock in the Zurich, but he did play well other than Sunday when he couldn't make a putt. The putting does worry me. I'm still employing some of the strategy of ball striking because that's just in my DNA, like the DNA you just talked about, hoping that a hot putter catches on, and that's kind of where I'm at with Mark Hubbard. Over the last 20 rounds, though, he just stacks up with what I'm looking for. 20th in strokes gained approach, top 30 in strokes gained total, and in par 5 scoring. 8th in birdies or better gain percentage. He's been scoring a lot, and even with the putter being a little cold on him recently, he's gained strokes when he's putted on bent grass this year. So I like that. I think he's just striking the ball really well. I think he's going to give himself a lot of looks, and then as long as he doesn't putt as poorly as he did at the Zurich Classic, I think he's going to be in the mix for a top 10 because I think he's hitting the ball better than most in this field right now.
All right. What you call Homeless Hubs? Homeless Hubbard?
Yeah, Homeless Hubs.
All right. I like it. Top 10 plus 450. My top 10, golfer 10-1 to finish in the top 10 for me. I'm going to go with Taylor Montgomery, top 10 at 10-1. Betting on him to win as well at 125-1. So like I said, a couple of long shots here for my top 10 and top 20 picks. Taylor Montgomery has won at TPC Craig Ranch in the past. Not this event, but he won a Q School event back in 2019 that was hosted at TPC Craig Ranch. So if you want to count Q School as course history, he has a win at this course, something not very many other golfers can say. His form has been bad in recent starts. He missed the cut in 3 of his 4 events since finishing T11 at the Players. But he does lead the entire PGA Tour in strokes gained putting. We know this about him. This is kind of his whole thing. He's, especially this year, the best putter on tour. And like I said earlier, I'm not going my ball striking strategy this week. I'm just going to go with good putters and hope they can hit greens and sink a ton of putts. So Taylor Montgomery already won at this event in the past. Crazy odds for him to finish top 10, especially, T11 at the Players, and obviously a much stronger field than this week. So I'll take a shot on Taylor Montgomery. I need him to round into form because if you want to look at recent form as a box that you want to check, he ain't checking that box this week. His form's been terrible. But who knows? I'll take Monty, 125-1, 10-1 to finish top 10.
Yeah, his ball striking has been real bad. Like
real bad.
Bright red if you look at it on the color-coded charts. Like it's not great. But hey, he is a popper. Like he popped a lot of times in 2023 in a lot of tournaments. So that whenever the putting gets hot, it can happen.
I do like how you always support my picks, even if it's a bad pick. You give me something to lean on.
When it's the heavy duty fields, I'll push back on you a little bit more. But on a field like this, there's no point in it.
Yeah,
like we're both equally as likely to miss all of our picks as we are to hit all of our picks. Like we're throwing stuff at the wall.
Fact. All right, let's move on. Top 5.
Top 5. I'm going with one of the favorites, Siwoo Kim. And he's one of the more popular plays this week. You look at any handicapper, and you're probably going to see some investment in Siwoo Kim. But I think there's pretty damn good reason for that. First off, finished runner-up here last year to Jason Day, lost by a stroke from being in a playoff. So, and he's been better this season overall with his ball striking and everything. Over the last 20 rounds in this field, 25th in strokes gained approach, 2nd in strokes gained total, and 3rd in par 5 scoring, while also being 10th in birdie or better percentage, or birdie and better gain percentage. The putter, as always with Siwoo Kim, and it doesn't help that he changes the putter. I don't know if you've noticed this, but he's had a different putter in each of the last 3 tournaments. He had a mallet, he had a broomstick, and then he had just a regular blade putter. So please just pick a putter. Maybe that would help a lot. We just got a comment, Kim outright. Absolutely love that. Siwoo Kim, I just think the way he's striking the ball, the way we know he can get hot, you look at all of his wins, it's him getting hot in potential birdie fest. Even when he won the Players, that was a very low scoring year for the Players, and he just went out and dominated. He's a guy who just strings together birdies, strings together scoring. So I think this is the type of tournament where he's going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, obviously no argument for me for Siwoo Kim. If you're a data golf guy, datagolf.com does of Siwoo Kim. He has that highest percentage chance to win at 6%. That's 2.2% better than the next golfer, which is Jordan Spieth at 3.8%. So the metrics obviously like Siwoo Kim this week. I certainly considered betting on him. I went a little bit of a different direction. I'll talk about it when I get to my pick to win. But yeah, no argument for me from Siwoo Kim. Practical Picks loves it. And I do want to show Mondo one more time. And this is, I think he's referring to my Montgomery pick. He said, you never know. Malnati had a ton of red on the charts before his win. And a few years back, Siwoo Kim missed 8 straight cuts, then won the Players. I like it, Mondo. I like it. So there you go.
Positivity out here.
Lots of positive. That's all we can do in a week like this. At the
Especially
CJ
after
Cup
the week
Byron
you
Nelson.
just came off of with the NFL draft.
Yeah. And then now tonight I get to watch my Leafs officially get eliminated by the Bruins. So, yeah, the Leafs loss, Michael Penix 8 overall, Leafs loss, and now another Leafs loss, and the end of my misery tonight. So, maybe I can hit a winner.
We still love you, Ian.
Also, LPGA had a shot there in the final round, and Hyron Rue kind of blew it too, kind of imploded. I don't know if she would have caught Hannah Green, but oh well. Have had not good luck with my bets or with my fandoms the past couple weeks, but that happens. My top 5 pick. This is the guy if you've been watching the show, you know that I was going to pick this guy at some point on this show. So I am doing it. It is TPC Lee, KH Lee. We had to pick him in some form or fashion. I'll take him top 5 plus 800, not betting on him to win. He was obviously the winner here in 2021, 2022, T50 last year, which is not great. But his nickname is TPC Lee for a reason. If it's an average course that has no character whatsoever, it means KH Lee is going to play well at it. Very hot and cold golfer this season. T4 at the Cognizant, T9 at the Valspar Championship, T25 of the American Express, but he also has a ton of missed cuts sprinkled in there. T11 at Zurich last week. Do you remember who his partner was last week? Who did he play with?
Oh God, I have no idea. Let's be honest. There were times I would look at someone on the leaderboard and not know either of the players involved there. So.
Yes. But I would regret if I didn't bet on TPC Lee at in some form or fashion this week. So I will back the 2021 and 2022 back-to-back winner. I'll just take him to finish in the top 5 at 8-1. TPC KH Lee.
He played with Twitter sensation Michael Kim, as No Laying Up likes to call him.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah. But, you talk about the Zurich, talk about nondescript golf courses with no character. That's TPC Louisiana. So, it makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Absolutely it does. Mondo, you're sitting good. I play KH some every time he butchers. You play... Do you mean you bet on KH some? I read it as you play with him sometimes, which I assume that's probably not the case. When I don't, he is good. I'm not playing him this week. Yeah, you're talking about betting. I'm not playing him this week, so go ahead and cash the ticket. For a second, Mondo, I thought you were buddies with KH Lee. That's my bad. I'm misreading that.
Mondo was his partner actually at the Zurich class.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our picks to win. Ooh, you're taking a Canadian.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I talked about, trying to catch the hot putter. It's one of the best putters on the PGA Tour. Mackenzie Hughes, 45-1. Short games is DNA. We know that. But there's a lot of things I like with the way Mackenzie Hughes has been trending this year that make me think he's due for a win at a course like this. We know he can rack up birdies because of that short game. Whenever he gets hot with the putter, super hot, it's just lights out. But over the last 20 rounds in this field, 3rd in strokes gained total. And the short game has been a big part of that. But before the RBC Heritage, where he just kind of had a bad tournament overall, at least with the ball striking, he had gained on approach in 4 straight events. And he finished T14 at this event last year at TPC Craig Ranch, despite losing strokes on approach. If he's just even a moderate gainer, that's going to put him in contention to win with the way he can score with his short game. I think 45-1 is a little bit disrespectful. He's been reeling off some pretty good finishes outside of the RBC Heritage. I think he's going to be in contention. I think he's one of the better players in this field, if we're being honest. I want to sing "Oh Canada" with you next week, Ian. Let's go, Mackenzie Hughes.
Love it. I'm going to tail that pick with you. Obviously, I want to root for Canadians, and in this event, I don't know. I didn't even think about picking a Canadian. I probably should have this week, but yeah, I like it. For your pick to win, 45-1. I'm going with a second Swede, betting on 2 Swedes this week. One Alexander Bjork and a guy who I've already bet on a couple times this season, but I'm going to bet on him again, Alex Noren. Now, a lot of people are looking at him at 25-1. I actually think he's down at 22-1. I don't know if there's a 25-1 still available out there. But I know a lot of people are looking at him being like, why is Alex Noren 25-1? That has to be the worst value bet on the board. I disagree. I know obviously not the sexiest name in the field this week, but if you look at the stats and if you look at the metrics, he is leading this field in total strokes gained heading into this event this season. So I think that makes him an obvious bet. I mean, once again, we have an extremely boring golf course that doesn't really have any defining characteristics. So why don't I just bet on the golfer who has his metrics have been the best of anyone in the field? I think the two most underrated golfers in terms of just their total strokes gain numbers and their betting odds this season was Billy Horschel and Alex Noren. I wish I'd bet on Billy Horschel a couple of weeks ago. I didn't. I was up in Canada. I couldn't bet. And then he went and won that alternate field event. Now I think might be Alex Noren's chance. Great putter. That follows, my overall kind of strategy for this event. And once again, despite leading the field in total strokes gained this season, he's fourth, fifth on the odds. Data Golf has him as the third best odds to win behind Siwoo Kim and Jordan Spieth. So I'm going to take Alex Noren. I haven't seen anyone else bet on him because everyone's like, why is Alex Noren, 25-1? He should be like 50-1 because he's Alex Noren. I'm going to trust the metrics. I'm just going to take the guy who statistically has been the best golfer this season in this field. 25-1.
I think it makes a lot of sense. I looked at him for a top 10, top 5, that range. The one thing that I'm actually, I just said earlier that in this type of event, I wasn't going to push back. The one thing I will push back about Alex Noren as an outright that I would caution anyone wanting to tail with is he is outside the top 80 in this field in birdie or better gain percentage. And I think that's one of the reasons why you haven't seen a lot of people on him, at least in the outright market. Like, I understand completely statistically why he's up in that tier for, on the odds board. But I think that when it comes to going low enough to actually win this tournament, I don't know if he has the gas in the tank, whereas he might just put together like four straight 6-under rounds, but that's still only going to get you to 24. And if 25 or 26, I don't think he has the gear to get there.
My counter to that is that he's second on tour in eagles per hole. 60. No, wait, that's not right. He has 10 eagles. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's second on tour. I was going to say 63%. It says frequency 63.0 for my mind. Where the 63% is obviously not equal to 63% of holes. But he's one of only 3 golfers to have double-digit eagles this season.
Okay. I mean, look, I don't
getting eagles at this course is important. So if he can rack up some eagles, maybe he doesn't necessarily need as many birdies as some other golfers. But that would be my counterpoint to your counterpoint.
No, and like I said, I looked at him for a top 10, top 5. Your statistical breakdown of it is absolutely spot on, and I would not be surprised to see him at the top of this leaderboard at all. I just worry a little bit about the win equity.
Paul Camarda says, might sprinkle on the big break legend Richie Rowinski. Petition to have the Golf Channel bring back the big break. The Bachelor meets the Masters, greatest show of all time. I never watched the big break. Cody, did you watch? I do remember it existing. I just never sat down and watched. Did you watch the big break?
This is the first time learning of it. This is the first I'm hearing of it. I've never heard of this.
Was Tony Finau on the big break, Paul, or was that a different one? Golf Channel used to do these reality shows. I don't know if they still do. Obviously, based on what Paul's saying, that they don't do the big break anymore.
He was in 2009.
Tony Finau was.
Yes,
Tony Finau big break was. 2009. There you go. Bring back the big break. Love it. Richie Rowinski, he won an event 2021. He won an event. I want to say it was was it like the Rocket Mortgage Classic, Richie Rowinski? It was one of those, it was an event kind of like this.
Let me see. Let's look up the Rich. You gotta get a Wikipedia deep dive in every show, see who won where. He won one career PGA Tour victory, the 2020 Barracuda. The
Barracuda Championship. Okay. And I think that was happening during all the Black Lives Matter stuff. And I think when he won that event, he was wearing a Blue Lives Matter bracelet. So that was probably a tough look for Richie Rowinski. That's when I hear Richie Rowinski, that's what I think about him wearing that bracelet. And I think it was the week he won. Barracuda Championship, August 2nd, 2020. There you have it.
Love it. The one Stableford format that is an off-field event that no one watches.
That's right. Was Stableford. That's right. Yeah. All right, closest to the win. We'll wrap up with this. Once again, we pick a golfer that is at least 100 to 1 odds or longer. And then whoever has the most wins by the end of the year will get a free round of golf on the other person. So you got to make a little bit of a comeback. We're halfway through the season, Cody, and I have a 7-3 lead.
I know.
So,
my picks haven't even been bad. Yours have just been better. And that's
I don't
tough.
even know this golfer you picked this week. I don't even know him. Never heard of this guy before in my life.
Yeah, well, we're going with Jacob Bridgman. Talk about a household name. We'll call this show the new big break because this is about to be Jacob Bridgman's big break. But no, just looking at everything I've been saying for all these other golfers, I think he fits the profile to someone. I looked at him as a top 20 pick, honestly. He's 18th in strokes gained approach, 13th in strokes gained total over the last 20 rounds. Decently long driver, not short, not overly long or anything. He's a scorer. Third in this field in birdie or better gain percentage. I think he can make a ton of birdies. The putter has been volatile, but really looking nice on bent grass lately. Again, not the most confident pick in the world, but as a closest to the win at 125 to 1, I like his profile a little bit. And I think the way he can score birdies really gives me confidence that he can show up this week.
T21, Texas Children's Houston Open, T23, Punta Cana, T19 last week. So, T23, Puerto Rico too. So, yeah, he posts some solid finishes in these kind of events that don't have great fields. So,
yeah, okay. And that's what we're looking for.
Sure. I like it. I mentioned this golfer earlier. Well, Mondo did. I said stick around because I'm going to pick your boy. My close to the win pick this week is going to be Aaron Baddeley.
Let's go.
Just sticking to my strategy of picking good putters. I think he's third on the tour, or he's top 5 at least in strokes gained putting. I considered him top 20, but at 200 to 1, I'll make him as my close to the win pick. And I think Mondo said this. I think he had a good finish. Yeah, T23 here last year as well. So good course history from last year. He's at least made the cut in 3 straight events, including a T17 at Valspar. So yeah, I'll take Baddeley, 200 to 1.
And for your short game metrics, over the last 36 rounds, he is first in the field around the green and second in putting. So yeah, short game dialed.
There you go. That's what we need this week. Mondo says, hey, good luck with Bads. He is used to the big stage and early on was awesome. Just never could live up to the hype, but he has made a good living for sure. Career. Mondo Angelucci is the #1 Aaron Baddeley fan in the world. Mondo, you should start an Aaron Baddeley tracker account because I doubt there's one of those out there.
I don't know, man. There's so many trackers out there on Twitter right now. Like sometimes you'll see one that just like really shocks you. It'll be like an Alexander Bjork like tracker, and I'm like, what's the market for this? What are we doing here?
Alexander Bjork tracker if there isn't one. I got beef for the Scotty Scheffler tracker. If you're going to be a tracker, especially for the #1 ranked golfer in the world, you got to track him. He'll be like at the gym on Saturday and be like, sorry, I'm not able to track. It's like this Saturday at the Players. He's like, sorry, I can't track, and I'm at the gym. If you're making a Twitter account, especially for the #1, like I get it. If you're going to be the Alexander Bjork tracker, take a day off every now and then. If you're going to be the Scotty Scheffler tracker, you can't go to the gym on Saturday at the Players.
At least get a team. Like get a team around you, team of trackers, you know, like I can say I've actually talked with the guy who runs Ricky Fowler Tracker, and he's committed. That's a committed fellow right there. He the last I talked to him, he was watching through a betting app on a VPN so he could track because PGA Tour app was being bad. So like
that's dedication.
That's what we want to see from our trackers.
I'm going to follow Ricky Fowler Tracker right now just based on that. His last tweet a few days ago, Colonial bound. He's pumped that Ricky Fowler will be playing in the Charles Schwab Challenge.
Who wouldn't be? Chucky Schwab. We love it.
All right, that's the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson, my picks. I'll just rip through them here. I got Alexander Bjork, top 25 to 1. Taylor Montgomery, top 10 to 1. Also betting on both those guys to win. KH Lee, top 5, 8 to 1. And my pick to win is Alex Noren. And my close to the win at 200 to 1 is Aaron Baddeley. Cody, rip through your picks and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, top 20, Peter Quest, plus 320. Top 10, Mark Hubbard, plus 450. Siwoo Kim, plus 350 for a top 5. Winner, Mackenzie Hughes at 45 to 1. Closest to the win, Jacob Bridgman, 125 to 1, and the first time that Iain has ever heard of this man.
Fact. Mondo Angelucci with one more great chat here. He's been the MVP of the show, which we needed for a week like this. I was a huge JC Sneed fan. Then when JC retired years back, now it's steady with Bads. Best of luck, guys. I'm no official president of Bads tracker, the good, the bads, and the ugly. From being a JC Sneed fan and Aaron Baddeley fan.
What is the connection between those two? Is there one? Because I'm looking at JC Sneed's Wikipedia. He's from Hot Springs, Virginia, and Bads is from down under. So, like, I'm not sure what the connection is, but I love it. Well, I love it.
JC Sneed did win the 1973 Australian Open.
Okay. We're cooking now.
Mondo Angelucci, are you Australian? Do you have a soft spot for winners of the Australian Open and people who are from Australia? Is Baddeley Australian or New Zealand? He's Australian, correct?
We're checking.
The flags look too similar, and I get them mixed up all the time.
It says Australian professional golfer, so I hope Wikipedia is not leading us astray.
So there's the connection. JC Sneed won the 1973 Australian Open. That was Mondo Angelucci's first ever golf event that he watched. So he became a JC Sneed fan. Now that he's retired, he had to latch onto an Australian, and he latched on to Aaron Baddeley. Has Aaron Baddeley won the Qantas Australian Open? Ooh, maybe that's the connection. Maybe Mondo Angelucci is a big fan of the Qantas Australian Open.
He did. He won the Australian Open twice. Once as an amateur in 1999 and once in 2000.
I'm on to you, Mondo. You're just a big fan of the Australian Open. I respect.
Shouts to Live Golf Adelaide. Australian golf, man. Like, Australian golf fans are the best. Like, that's the best environment. When the President's Cup was down there, that's one of the best President's Cup I've ever seen.
Yep. President's Cup in Montreal this year. We're going to try to go.
Do it. That'd be awesome.
We got some good Canadians. It's a good time for it to be in Montreal. Mike Weir's the captain.
I'm a little bit worried about the American team. If they're relying on Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth to do anything, good God help them.
Too bad Zach Johnson's not their captain again, because I'd be betting on Team World right now.
Oh God, he'd be telling Team World to f off like he did the patrons at the Masters.
Yeah. All right, that is our show. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe to the Bet-Sided YouTube channel. Good luck with all your bets this week. Gambler blessed, and we'll be back next week for the Wells Fargo Championship, an signature event at Quail Hollow. So it should be a fun one. And then after that, we got the PGA Championship. So talk to you all then.
We'll see you.